Thanks for listening to another episode of PSL on the Mic, the City of Port St. Lucie's official podcast. We're back in the studio with Louis and JD from Public Works. We spoke with them a couple weeks ago about how the city and how Public Works prepares before a hurricane. Now we're going to talk about what happens after the storm passes, like the cleanup efforts and recovery. So welcome back to the studio, you guys.
Thank you.
So the storm's passed. We venture out. We mentioned last week about 35-mile-an-hour winds. It's safe to go out. And depending on the severity, what happens first after the storm?
Well, first and foremost, public safety is paramount, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have a list of priority roadways for, make sure we have safe passage for public safety, our fire department, our police department, and certainly what we're going to do is we're going to systematically go to all the roadways that have a direct connection to our hospitals.
Okay.
And so our public work crews are tasked with that. Depending, and you'll hear us use this disclaimer, it depends on what the storm events are.
Right.
So, a category 1, 2, 3, a category 5, it certainly may change the dynamic of that.
Of course.
Also having a good line of communication with FP&L to make sure that, so if we're going down these primary roadways, if we know that there's power lines along the road, we need to make sure they shut the grids off so we can get through there and do our thing.
Again, like we spoke about last time, communication.
Yes.
So after that's established, what about getting trees out of the roadway? What's next steps after that?
A lot of that is what JD was explaining earlier, our initial first push, where we're actually clearing roadways and things like that. And a lot of times we'll be getting different calls that a tree is down or something like that.
Right.
And they would dispatch our team out to actually remove trees and things like that. That's impending danger, whatever the case may be from there.
Is there any, go ahead.
Something very important to note. Depending on what we are forecasted of what that storm looks like, really is some things we need to know on that portion for the post. We're going to get hit with a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. We are going to be in contact with our debris managers. We are going to have a very robust and specific location to make sure that they are going to be able to provide the resources based upon this scenario.
Okay.
So once that happens and the public works goes out and we clear those primary roadways, simultaneously, depending on the severity of the storm, we'll be communicating with them on how robust their complement to our efforts needs to happen more on the front end, or maybe we come back and what we do afterward is we do what's called a driveway survey where we go out and assess. You just go out and you look at. It's a window survey. You go out and you look at everything and you make an assessment, and based upon 100% of your survey, you come up with a formula of 20% of what it actually is going to look like, so we can really dial up what our response is going to look like to get the city back in order.
Okay. Are there any major obstacles that you guys have dealt with in the past that you've overcome to get through like a cleanup or recovery that you can remember?
Yeah, so kind of what I said before is making sure we have a complementary team of contractors that's going to come in and help us out. Right. So that has been, I'll use the word challenging, and so as a contingency for that, we've made an opportunity to afford our local contractors as partners in the event that...
Oh, good.
Well, if you have so think about it. Say we have X contractor, and they have contracts with numerous municipalities. Depending on the severity of where something's going to be hit is generally where they're going to lean their resources.
Sure.
We want that, too, because if one of our brothers and sisters from other communities are hurt worse, certainly.
Right.
But we have a responsibility to us and our citizenry, our citizens, to take care of those things. So that was the biggest thing we want to make sure we have in place. The other thing is we've made our department as being first responders at where our resources are a little bit more robust, where our equipment is capable of going out and making that response. We had a situation where the contractor didn't show up. Well, we had to get this road cleared up. And so during that specific event, our department picked up 37% of everything in the city.
Wow.
So we learned from that, and the city manager has made that very clear that these are things that just cannot happen. Right. So we have to have that contingency.
Even and beforehand, before we hit the storm. What type? You mentioned equipment. What types of equipment just throw something out there that you guys use. I mean, obviously chainsaws, backhoes, I don't know. What kind of equipment do you guys use for recovery?
Chainsaws, backhoes, bobcats.
Oh, yeah.
Lawn sticks. Any piece of equipment that can actually move things out of the way, like front end loader, different things like that. Probably from a canal standpoint, we may utilize boats and different things like that
Okay.
to retrieve things out of the canal as a whole. But those are some of the equipment that we utilize.
Last year, Ben, one of our videographers, and I went out after Milton. Was it the Swamp Meister? I'm not. It helped. It dug out I think it was on the boulevard. It moved a bunch of debris that had gathered over by one of the canals. I think that's not the Swamp Meister, is it? Is it? Oh,
Yes.
it moves around like this and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
The Swiss Army knife. So that's an acronym for it can do a little bit of everything.
Oh, nice. I'm really a
Yeah,
Swiss Army?
it is. It's a very versatile piece of equipment that can go into 6 feet of water. We have 4 of them available to us. They are very essential to not only our normal perpetual maintenance, but certainly in storm events. We've also, 2 years ago, we bought an airboat.
Yes.
What we found.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'll tell you what, people kind of made a little bit of fun of us to doing that, but you have a flooding, you're not going to take his boat with that
No.
boat motor in the back and go down the canal. You need something that can
Yeah.
work in either no water or, short, skinny
Limited,
water.
yes.
And the airboats are probably the only way that we would be able to make responses if we had to get to areas where there was flooding that we had to get to
A significant amount, yeah.
for sure. Well, if we have to get to areas that are very difficult, the airboat we could drive that across this parking lot if we had to. So that is not a matter of how much we use it, but it's when we're going to need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you guys have any advice for residents after a storm?
Communications, right?
Communications,
Yeah.
yes. We want to get the word out, pretty much, communication. If they're putting debris out, to separate it, vegetation versus construction
Yep.
debris, and because that affects how we do our FEMA reimbursement.
Looks like fences, fence pieces, or stuff like
So
that.
just make sure you separate your debris.
Good.
That
I
would
think we
probably
s-
be the most important.
It's
Yeah.
very important because who's paying for that up front. We have to pay that contractor. We're not
Right.
waiting 10 years for FEMA to reimburse us.
No,
So
no.
We have to pay that, and so depending on what we call white goods, and you'll hear that term. That is anything inside your house.
Okay.
Is, anything that's a consumer good. Vegetation is vegetation. Separate it.
Okay.
Almost anything else is considered a white good. If your refrigerator
Fridge.
goes bad, and what happens, all the food goes bad.
Yep.
Those white goods, please make sure you separate them because
Okay.
if you mix them, they are one, and that price for white goods versus vegetation is probably a 10 times difference in that cost that we have to pay up front and hopeful we'll get reimbursed for. And that affects us all. At the end of the day, that bottom line, somebody's paying for it, right?
I remember sending out a lot of information through Facebook, social media last year about the separation. And as far as I know, everybody did a great job. So, and that's what I was talking with Billy about too. That's probably one of the best parts of your job too, is how everybody just comes together
Yes.
after a storm. Is there a scenario that you remember? Probably every year something happens.
Well, we had a storm event, and we were flooded out significantly. And the city manager at the time, God rest his soul, Mr. Cooper, the city center used to be a plaza, and there were thousands of people without power or food or anything. And we turned that thing virtually overnight into a
It was like a point of distribution
well, it
or
was a
something. Yeah.
distribution center, and in a period of 72 hours, we had that thing up and running. Food, water supplies. I mean, the cars were lined up for miles, and our response and our leadership on that particular one was very memorable because that was all hands on deck.
Yeah.
That was 20-some years ago, and we got hit with storms back to back.
It was the
that we didn't have
2004
a lot-
storms.
we
Yeah.
didn't have, before that, I don't think none of us experienced hurricane, and that was all hands on deck. Utilities, in all departments was. We should have been proud of ourselves. Our response was very caring, and it was very universally spread with all departments.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Francis, and then 3 weeks later was Gene, and there were 2 other ones hit the state of Florida
Pretty
in
much.
different areas.
Yes.
It was awful, but everybody came together. I love that. I love, people cutting trees down in their neighborhood, borrowing chainsaws, generators. It's good to see. Storms are horrible, but everybody comes together.
Yes.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we jump into our 10 questions? Any advice or anything, or something you want to add about recovery?
Well, take it serious.
Yes.
Take it
That's a good point. Yes.
really serious, because what you'll see happens is these storms is, although we say that they're accurate, 40 miles is a big difference between here and West Palm Beach.
It sure is.
You need to take it seriously. Stay up to date. Trust into the system. Post-hurricane, make sure that you're safe and bound. If there's something that's a public safety, but be patient. Listen to the communications that's coming in. I can tell you, you should be confident in this communications department, this emergency department, your nationally accredited public works,
Yes,
your utilities
sir.
building. We have a pretty strong stout
do.
there. So please trust in that program, and we've made ourselves very accessible to you all. But trust that. And here's the deal: is like you said, it's going to take more than all the people that work for the city. It's going to take everybody in the city, directly and indirectly,
Yep.
to help make this thing happen. And so we have to work as a team. We're in this together. We live here together. So understand it. We're all in this together.
Yep. Oh, that's a beautiful way to end it. And we're all in it together.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Mic drop. Yeah. Let's not drop the mics, though.
Gus is back there.
Yeah, hopefully we will not have to do this, but we are prepared if one does. I believe they're going to have the University of Colorado is going to announce how many storms we're going to have this year, which, that's could be true, maybe not, who knows. La Nina, El Nino, whatever's going on this year. But rest assured,
We take it seriously.
we're prepared. That's what I'm saying. And even during the year, we don't just prep a few weeks before a hurricane,
We
a
had a
week
meeting
before a
yesterday.
hurricane.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
exactly. The EOC meeting we had.
Docs meeting.
He wanted to have a meeting. He wanted to make sure we get ahead of this. So it was good.
Good.
I'm glad we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So we always end our podcast a little fun with some 10 questions just to get to know our staffers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm going to throw some questions out at you, and they're really easy. There's
Okay.
no zingers here.
Alrighty.
It's just to get to know our staff. Hey, we're not robots. We're humans, like our residents. We live in the community. We're you guys. You guys ready?
Yes.
JD looks nervous. All right, here we go.
Good, I'm good.
We'll go Lewis first, and then JD. Favorite food?
That would have to be squash.
Oh, what? And then Tom with his salads. JD.
Medium rare ribeye steak.
Thank you for saying medium rare. If my friends go to my dad's house and they ask for anything, if they ask for well done, he will not cook them a
Ask
steak.
me the next question, so it's fair to him. So we get the balance
Okay,
off.
okay,
You
good.
ask him everyone. That ain't fair, man. You gotta light him up.
Okay, well, good. All right, ready. We'll go. Favorite movie, JD?
Wizard of Oz.
Mine too. Oh, this is weird. Steak and Wizard of Oz. How about your favorite movie?
Men of Honor.
Oh, that's a great one. Cuba Gooding, right?
Yes.
Favorite hobby?
Tournament bass fishing.
That's right. We just talked about it. How about you, JD?
Working out outside.
Working outside
Yeah, working out. I like
Okay.
exercising, I like running and stuff.
and being outside. Good. More on JD. Favorite book?
A Land Remembered.
I'm reading that. And I got that from Brad and Jen Davis. They sent it to me in her office. It's wonderful. It's a great book. How about you?
The New Public Administration by George H. Ferguson.
Okay, very specific. How about your favorite singers or bands, Lewis?
Scorpion.
The Scorpions?
Yes.
Wow.
That's all. I'm telling my age.
That's okay.
VH.
VH.
Van Halen.
Oh, okay. I'm like, explain that.
Who else?
Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Food.
I have to say all of them.
All of them, even President's Day. How about your favorite place to visit, Lewis?
Barbados.
Ooh, nice.
That's my favorite.
JD?
Ireland.
My dream to go there one day. Favorite dessert?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
Peach cobbler.
We got two more, guys. Ready? Favorite TV show, Lewis, if you watch TV?
Yes, I do. Oh, wow. That's a good one.
You could take us back. It can be an oldie but goodie.
Big Valley.
Oh, nice. That's
I'm
good.
watching those episodes.
God.
Let's go, JD. Favorite TV show?
America's Most Wanted. I don't watch TV much, but America's Most Wanted, I like watching that show. I thought it was cool.
Okay, all right. And here's our last question, guys. Favorite colors?
Midnight blue.
Emerald green.
Because of Ireland. They're blue too, I think, according to Nan. So that was fun, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again,
Like the question.
this was so important that we had the entire month of May dedicated to hurricane season, because the season starts in 2 days, would be June 1st. So, no, wait, yes, June 1st through November 30th. And make sure that you visit our websites. We have the EM site, we have Public Works, everything is there. If you have questions, we're here to answer them for you. And like we said, we're all in this together.
Yes.
Thank you, JD.
Well,
Thanks, Lewis.
Thank you.